أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا حبيبنا محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا أما بعد. My dear brothers and sisters, I would like to begin by thanking Allah, the Lord of the universe, the Master of the Day of Judgment, for giving us the strength to be able to perform and attend Jumu'ah yet again. Alhamdulillah, we need to thank Him all the time. For Jumu'ah marks the register, every weekly register for Muslims. If you miss it for 3 weeks successively without any real reason, your name is crossed off the list of register or list of Muslims, according to the saying of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Brothers and sisters, however, there is an issue that I need to raise in front of all of us today, and of course I'm sure you've heard this before. Jumu'ah has become a ritual for most Muslims. We attend because everyone else attends, culturally expected, or we were attending it from our childhood. There is no significant meaning or understanding around what Jumu'ah should be. And I want you to change that. I want us all to change our everyday practice when it comes to Islam. It's become ritualistic for everything. We have become robots, like sheep, following one and the rest will just follow. Like fish. We are wrong in all of these behaviors, and I would like us to think about changing that. Islam is a religion of knowledge. Discovering Allah requires knowledge. Discovering the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam requires knowledge. Discovering a way of life that is Islamic requires depth of knowledge. There are 5 steps to knowledge that I want to very quickly address today. I call them competencies. We're all born with a degree of knowledge, or at least we are exposed to an environment of knowledge, and we gain those skills pretty quickly. But there are certain innate knowledge that we have to be able to eat, to cry when we're needy, to cry when we need attention. These are innate knowledge. Allah has given them to all of us. But there is also a capacity for all of us to develop our knowledge further. The brain that Allah has given, the mind that forms as a result of that, the DNA that carries the imprint within us, certain behavior patterns that we inherit from our parents, and of course that we learn from our society. So you gain competencies by increasing your knowledge on a daily basis. Firstly, you begin by not knowing what you don't know. It's called unconscious incompetence. You have no knowledge of what you don't know. Exactly what happens to all of us. We are born with very little knowledge. In fact, you gain, and when you're a little child, you have no idea what you don't know. The same goes in Islam. When you open the book of Allah, the Quran itself, the 2nd chapter of the Quran, the 1st verse, Alif Lam Mim, you don't even know what it means. As soon as you open the 1st chapter, 2nd chapter, 1st verse, Fatiha is the opening. But as soon as you read Alif Lam Mim, you don't know what it means. Nobody knows what it means. And then 2nd verse says, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ. This is a book. There is no doubt in it. What do you mean there is no doubt in it? Alif Lam Mim, I just don't know the meaning of Alif Lam Mim, and Allah is telling me there is no doubt in it. How do you reconcile the two? How do you reconcile having no knowledge of Alif Lam Mim, and then Allah saying there is no doubt in this book? It's by gaining knowledge. It's by delving in the depth of the Quran. It's by researching. It's by learning what you don't know. You're overcoming your unconscious incompetence. And then Allah says, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Not only there is no doubt in this book, but this is also a guidance. Ya Allah, how am I supposed to find guidance in this book when the first word that you've used, Alif Lam Mim, I've got a clue. I don't understand what it means. Nobody has ever explained that to me. This is a challenge to you and me, my brothers and sisters. It's a challenge to human mind. Allah is saying, وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. We've given you knowledge, but very little. Knowledge is, you and I have knowledge. Without knowledge, these buildings have cropped up. I used to live in the local area before, but there are no buildings like this. Canary Wharf used to be a marshland where we played, and I cycled in this area in the marshes. I still remember. Look what human beings have done. Buildings upon buildings, undergrounds, overgrounds, tunnels, everything they could do by knowledge. And yet Allah says, وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. I've given you knowledge, but it's very little. Why is it very little? The true knowledge you don't have. You may have material knowledge. You may be able to put one and one together to make 2. You may be able to create formulas and make this and make that, but the real knowledge lies with Allah. And that discovery of knowledge, that true discovery comes when you realize what you don't know. And then you become competently unconscious. Unconsciously incompetent. So in other words, you now know what you don't know. You've discovered, I don't know really much. I don't know about Allah. I don't know about my own body. I asked somebody the other day, our body has 3 or 4 components if you look at it from very basic perspective. Our physical body, we've got our physical body which has got organs, but there is something else called the brain that has a function of its own. Some of it is physical and some of it is metaphysical. And then we've got heart. Heart has a physical existence, but it's also got a metaphysical existence. But there is something called ruh, soul, that keeps you and I alive. And Allah says, true knowledge of the soul, you have no knowledge. You don't know. The true knowledge is with Allah. So when you start discovering what you don't know who you are, where you came from, what your body really constitutes of, how is it possible that your body actually functions, how is it possible that you survive, how is it possible that your heart beats, how is it possible that your ruh leaves and you die. When it arrives, you're alive. When you begin to know real knowledge of what you don't know, this is when you start beginning to build the true nature of your existence. Otherwise, you're lost. We're lost. So, my brothers and sisters, first step is to realize that we become unconsciously incompetent. We don't know what we don't know. Secondly, we become consciously incompetent. We now have learned what we don't know. And then we start stepping one step at a time, getting to the next level, And my brothers and sisters, I want you to mark the words of Allah when it comes to knowledge and when it comes to competence. The first revelation of Allah, first revelation in the Quran is read, Iqra. Allah did not say pray. Allah did not say fast. Allah did not say anything about you and me for 13 years in terms of any other specific tangible commands. One command stayed, read. Why would Allah want to make people read? Because it is by reading the physical brain that you have, you unlock it. And when you unlock your physical brain, the metaphysical brain comes into action. When you unlock your physical brain and your metaphysical brain starts functioning, your heart starts responding. And when you start your heart, your brain, physical and metaphysical of it working together in a sync, this is when your ruh feels fulfilled. Spiritually you feel uplifted. These are the journeys we make by reading the Quran, by delving into the faith, by understanding our faith, by praying. Don't come to Jumu'ah because it's a ritual. Don't pray because it's a ritual, everyone else is praying. It has no meaning whatsoever. If Jumu'ah has no meaning, then you're wasting your time. If Jumu'ah is not a profound moment of self-discovery on a weekly basis, then you and I are wasting our time. If Jumu'ah is not a profound moment of solidarity for Muslim Ummah, you're wasting your time. If Jumu'ah isn't a moment of actually telling the world, no more to the injustices and oppressions, no more to the poverty and inequalities, no more to the prejudices, then you're wasting your time. Because Jumu'ah is about spiritual revival from within, and the impact of it should be felt by anyone and everyone outside. So you are making a journey. You began unconsciously as incompetent person. You became consciously incompetent. Now you're at the second level of knowledge, and you're still discovering. You're still learning. That's why you come to Jumu'ah. Even when you're standing in front of Allah on the Musalla, you're still discovering your existence. You're still discovering your connection with Allah. Does it really make sense? I'm saying Allahu Akbar, I'm going to pray. Is my heart connecting with Allah? Am I feeling something? Somebody said to me, brother, I pray but I don't feel anything. If you're not feeling anything and you've been praying for 30, 40 years, you're wasting your time. You've not felt anything. Why haven't you felt anything? And if you haven't felt anything, in other words, you've not changed your unconscious incompetencies to conscious incompetencies. You have not done anything about knowing what you don't know. And if you keep at it, you will die not knowing what you don't know. And if you don't know what you don't know, you will never know what you should know. That's the path of knowledge as far as Allah is concerned in the Quran. Throughout the Quran, this challenge is given to humanity. May Allah give us the strength to be able to learn more. May Allah give us the strength to be able to find a path to knowledge and make our soul, our heart, our body, our mind, everything come in sync so that we can discover Him Azza wa Jal in His true essence and form, in His true blessings we can enjoy, and we can understand the grace that He has given you and I every day and thank Him for it. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wassalamu ala Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Forgive me for speeding or speaking at speed. I'm not used to speaking for 15 or 10 minutes for a Jumu'ah. Normally, as in our local masajid, we've got half an hour to 40 minutes to expand on a topic. So I'm trying to be as succinct as possible. So I've given you two more steps just to complete. Then you become consciously competent. You have now learned new tricks. When you start reading the Quran, you're stuttering first. You don't know how to connect the words. You start learning how to connect them. You start learning how to do tajweed. You start learning makharij, the pronunciations of each and every alphabet. And you don't know the tajweed rules, how to do ghunna, how to do idgham, etc., etc. You become consciously competent. MashaAllah, I now know how to read the Quran. If I stand in a crowd and if somebody says go and read the salah, you don't feel shy about it because you become consciously competent. With Islam, with your deen, with your faith, with your prayer, it's exactly the same thing. When you stand for prayer, my brothers and sisters, let me ask you this question. You fasten your hand. Why have you fastened your hand? Why have you bowed down? Why have you gone down on the floor doing prostration? Why? Why do you do each and every act of salah in the way you do? Why do you recite the Quran when you're standing in prayer? Why do you say, Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim, Ya Allah, show me the right path? But straight afterward, you go and do something which is against Allah's path. Why have you asked Allah for favor and you're not willing to do anything in return? It's like the Shaykh said, we want the whole world to change, but we don't want to do anything about it. We want the fruits to come, but we don't want to plant the seed. We want the harvest to give us all the bumper crops, but we don't want to do the hard work of plowing the ground, weeding, feeding, watering, attending the plants on a daily basis. My brothers and sisters, competencies come when you attend it. Knowledge comes when you invest in it. Knowledge comes when you're willing to grow and grow with it. Not become knowledge junkie. You go from one circle to another, one talk to another. There is no profound impact in your life. Your character don't change. Your behavior don't change. Your prayers don't change. Your fasting don't change. The world doesn't benefit from you, nor do you benefit from the world. You have not really benefited. If you become consciously competent, you've discovered Allah. You've consciously become competent, you've discovered your prayer. You've consciously become competent, you've discovered yourself. You've become consciously competent about the purpose of life. You have truly started a journey which should have begun a long time ago. But any moment you discover that journey, you become consciously competent. The final step is become unconsciously competent. You know it so well, it's become part of your habit. You wake up, you pray, it becomes part of you. You make wudu before you go anywhere, become part of you. You fall over, instead of saying damn or swear words, you say inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. You sneeze, you say alhamdulillah. You see somebody, you say assalamu alaikum, how are you? Alhamdulillah, I'm okay. Your habit becomes different. Your eyes don't look at the wrong things. Your hearing doesn't listen to the wrong things. Your mouth does not indulge in the wrong things because it's become unconsciously part and parcel of you. It's become your adat, becomes your behavior, becomes part of your DNA. That's when you have actually discovered Allah. That's when you've actually discovered Islam. That's when you've actually become a Muslim. Otherwise, you're not even a Muslim. Islam requires you to submit to Allah's way completely. Not partially, my brothers and sisters. Bad news for all of us. There is no part-time Muslims. There is no absolutely none whatsoever. You surrender to Allah fully. And if you can surrender to Allah fully, it must be done consciously. And from conscious to become unconscious, such that when you miss prayer, your heart cries out. I remember my father, may Allah have mercy on his soul, every time there was even a delay. I remember driving on the motorway with him once. I was sitting next to me. It was 1:30. He started getting agitated. 1:35, you're getting irritated. 1:40, he started pushing me. 1:45, he said, park up now. I said, Dad, why? He goes, it's 1:30, my prayer time. I said, Dad, Asr is not until 5 o'clock. He goes, I don't care. Pull the car right now. I said, let me find a service station. That kind of agitation inside him, because he's missing his connection with Allah that he had built over all his life. It's become unconscious, but it is profound for him. Not only in prayer, in our remembrance of Allah, in our behavior, in everything that we do. Unless it becomes part of the unconscious competencies, we haven't surrendered to Allah. we haven't really surrendered to Allah. So I tell you, the intelligent people of our community, the movers and the shakers of our community, you work in the heart of the city where money is made, money is minted, as they say. You live in this place, and if you can't become consciously Muslim, then you have not delivered on the reasons and the purpose of you being here in the first place. So my brothers and my sisters, I will finish with these words. We have only one opportunity in life. This opportunity will never come. Once you've passed it, you're buried, you're gone. While you're alive, make the best of it. And to make the best of it, you start with not knowing what you don't know. You get to a place where you begin to know what you don't know. Then you begin the process of changing by knowing what you know. And then you become so competent that you don't even need to think twice. You just do it because it becomes part of you. That is the discovery. That is the path of knowledge. And finally, the path of knowledge is from Allah. The only way you can gain knowledge is from Allah. You may learn like lots of books and carry. I remember one scholar said to me about one of his students. He was very angry. He said, that student of mine, we were in the classroom together. He said, you're like a donkey carrying lots of books with no understanding. We were so embarrassed. I said to him, why do you say that? He goes, he's the most intelligent boy in our class. He knew most stuff. He knew the hadith, the Quran. He could regurgitate it just like that, but he had no understanding. You and I can read and read and read. Knowledge and wisdom comes from Allah. Understanding comes from Allah. So path to true discovery doesn't end when you've read lots of books or you've changed your habits. It ends when you say, Allah, please show me the right path and don't take me away from the path that you've discovered and you've given me. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. Ya Allah, once you've guided my heart, don't allow it to be misguided. Ya Allah, don't allow it to be misguided. That's the final point. The icing on the cake, as they say, when you've truly discovered the path of knowledge. May Allah make us stronger, give us better knowledge, make us our strong iman, give us taqwa. May Allah unite our hearts. May Allah relieve the ummah from troubles and turmoils. May Allah give this ummah stability and peace. May Allah restore on this earth peace and stability. May Allah free all the lands that are occupied. May Allah free all the lands that are being ruled by despots and dictators. And may Allah return on this earth peace and stability. And in our families, peace and stability. In our hearts, peace and stability. Inna Allah wa malaikatu yusalluna ala nabi. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim. Innaka hamidun majid. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروني يذكركم واشكروا لي ولا تكفرون والله يعلم ما تصنعون.